Who do we have on the line?
This is Paul Hollis.
Paul Hollis. Welcome to the DJ Cisco Radio Show. How are you?
Great, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Great. For those of you that just tuned in, we have author Paul Hollis on the line, and we are very delighted. I can't wait to get into this. I have a lot of questions for you. First off, tell the world who you are.
Well,
everybody gets stuck.
There's not much to tell on that end.
Yeah, right. Come on, man. So what type of books do you write? Tell us some of your books that you have out.
I write the thrillers.
Okay.
I'm hearing an echo here. Sorry. I write thrillers and about European terrorism, basically.
Okay.
I have 2 books out right now. First one is called The Hollow Man,
okay.
And the second is a sequel to that. It's called London Bridge is Falling Down.
Gotcha.
There is a third one coming out, which is we'll finish off the trilogy, and that one is called Surviving Prague.
Gotcha.
And that's some work behind the Iron Curtain. Yeah.
Got you. So what is Hollow Man about? Because I didn't get a chance to read all of your books, actually, because we just, got this interview like last week. So what is it about, basically? Not telling like the whole story, but...
Right, yeah. Hollow Man is about a young, inexperienced guy who actually takes on something probably a little bit more than he had ever planned for.
Okay.
And that would be tracking terrorists across Europe in the early 1970s. So that is what it's about. He gets a little carried away in his job duties. He was actually supposed to follow people and report back to superiors who could actually then do something with that information. But he got tangled up in a little bit more, and I'll talk about this a little bit later. But gets tangled up in some things, and of course can't let go of what he's doing, and gets into way over his head. So, that is what that one is about.
Okay.
And that's actually in Spain and France, mostly in Paris, that takes place.
Okay.
The second, the London Bridge is Falling Down, is of course in England and Ireland, and that is about the troubles, the IRA bombings, etc. So that is what that one's about.
All right. So when did you start writing? Even before you became a professional.
Well, actually, I didn't really start until I retired from IBM. I'm a long-time IBMer, and
great.
Retired from there, and I used to tell these stories to my friends, and around the bar, and they said, "Hey, you should probably write this down." And I said, "Well, I guess I don't have anything else better to do, so maybe I'll give it a try." And it turned out actually better than they expected, and better than I expected as well.
Beautiful. Now, where do you get your inspiration for your novels?
Well, those actually come from some specific real events that follow along some of my lesser-known exploits when I was traveling around Europe.
Okay.
In the early 70s. To make a long story short, I met a guy in early 1973 who thought I was wasting my time digging latrines in East Africa for the Peace Corps. So he had a better offer for me.
Okay.
At the time, terrorism was on the rise, in the early 70s, and I was actually assigned to learn as much about it as I could.
Wow.
What I was supposed to be doing was learn about the specific people and plans that they sort of assigned me to in Europe, and find out if they were actually going to bring terror to our shores here, and or otherwise go against our worldwide interests.
Okay, now listen. Sorry to cut you off, Mr. Hollis.
That's
now,
okay.
This isn't one of your books. This is about you in like real life, right?
Yeah,
okay.
but
sounds like one of your books. Okay.
But the books are based on this.
Yeah. Now, who had you doing this?
Well, I was officially a tourist, but I was what I was doing was working off the books for the NSA, so that I wasn't really an employee of theirs. They would pay me in cash, and I would just go to a local American Express office and give them a number, and they would give me all the money I wanted, and I was free to see Europe until they assigned me to a person or something going on that they needed to find out more information about.
Wow.
So that's how that all came about, yeah.
Okay. Wow. That right there is amazing, brother. So
yeah. And being 23 and 24 at the time, you could imagine that I was not very well trained and not very well experienced at a lot of what they had asked me to do. But what happened was I sort of overstepped my bounds of authority as to what I was supposed to do, and when I was supposed to let go of something, and I had a little trouble letting go of things, which you'll see in the book.
Wow, that is a great story.
Yeah.
Sound like Jason Bourne. I'm talking to Jason Bourne right now. So anyway, so for if someone who hasn't read any of your novels asks you to describe your writing, what would you say?
I would say my writing style is very visual.
Okay.
It's important for me to completely immerse readers, drawing them totally into the scene. I want readers to experience what's going on around them, to feel the excitement, to hear the voices. When readers say that the Hollow Man series should actually be on a big screen, I feel like I've pretty much told a complete real story there, and so it makes me feel good to hear that.
Yeah, definitely. I'm intrigued and I'm captivated. I can't wait to start reading your novels as soon as this show is over. Definitely. So where can we get some of your books?
They are available on Amazon, and most every place you can get online probably has a copy of it. There are ebooks, of course, and there are soft copies as well for those people who like to still hold the paper, and that's always a nice thing to do. So you can get those at Barnes and Noble, any place online, of course, has it.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now there are many books out there about terrorism. What sets yours apart?
Well, I like to say that 80% of mine is about 90% true. In conjunction with sort of the identifiable characters who are flawed, and the vivid imagery and the nonstop action, I actually envisioned the Hollow Man series for the big screen, in fact. Okay. And so you won't in this book, you won't see James Bond and Jason Bourne, who like come out of everything on top of all. Out of every encounter, they come out the best of it. In fact, my character gets the shit beat out of him quite a few times. Can I say that?
Realism. Oh yeah, this is the DJ Cisco radio show. You can say worse than that.
Yeah. So anyway, he's a very flawed character and young and inexperienced. So he's kind of like in danger just from that aspect of it. So
wow.
You won't see a Jason Bourne or a James Bond in this one.
All right. So yeah, I did read a few pages, and tell me about M16 Agent Zeta. Is she as sexy as she sounds?
Well, yes, she was to me. As I mentioned in the book, she's not really considered a typical woman. She's kind of the sort that would thrill a man with a look at her lips, and at the same time sort of make you feel like you're responsible for the entire baby seal population slaughter. And she was connected to Buckingham Palace. She had friends at Downing Street, and of course British intelligence. She was, as far as her physical attributes, she was is about 5'10" in the book, and has an athletic build. She has auburn cut hair to the shoulders, blue eyes to rival Van Gogh's skies. She's intelligent, beautiful, savvy, and a strong-willed woman. So yeah, I guess she was pretty sexy to me. So.
Okay, cool. Now, why doesn't Zeta let Doc carry a gun?
Well, Doc wasn't very experienced with firearm management, as
Okay.
they say. Assuming we're not counting watching Saturday morning cartoons and the cowboy movies, he was not experienced with them, and he really didn't feel very comfortable with how they worked, and consequently, he never actually demonstrated any sort of consistent accuracy to satisfy her. So he never actually hit anything he was aiming at. So she was afraid that he would be caught. She would be caught in the crossfire when he started mimicking a Hollywood gangster shootout here. So,
Yeah.
so no, she didn't let him have guns except on the rare occasion, which you'll see in the book. Yeah.
Okay. Now, let the listeners know which book this is from. The title.
The Hollow Man has Zeta, and she's actually a recurring character. So you'll see her in both books. Very, very strong female lead. So if you're, it's not your typical shoot 'em up kind of books. It has a lot of intelligence to it, I think, and of course a very, very strong female lead, which you usually don't get in thrillers of that sort.
Now, listeners tuned in, there's a whole heap of you guys tuned in from all over the world. Anyone that could dial in, you could ask them a few questions if you like. The phone number is 347-352-8625. 347-352-8625. Your main character is only known as Doc. Where does he get his nickname from?
Right. That was a nickname I acquired when I was younger, and so I passed it along to my main character.
Gotcha.
When I was in high school, I took a job as a cleanup guy in a very busy mortuary owned by two twin brothers. This is a great story. A few days into the first week, I was sweeping the basement where the bodies were kept for embalming prep.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard scratching noises, breaking into my thoughts, and I glanced up, and there was a body was sitting up on one of the metal gurneys, and so and these strange sounds were coming from beneath the sheet, and so that thing was between me and the door, and so I thought, I sprinted by this body sitting up. I used the handle of the broom as a jousting pole, knocked the body right off the table backwards. I heard moaning coming after me, but I kept running upstairs, past the chapel, through the main office, and out the front door. I was 2 blocks away before one of the brothers caught me in his car, and he had to actually cut me off on the sidewalk because I wouldn't stop it. And he said, "Hey, that's just my brother Bob. He was just having a little fun with you." And I told him I quit. And he says, "Oh, sorry to hear that, but you might want to come by and pick up the money we owe you." And I said, "You can keep that too." And he looked at me for a long time, and finally he said, "Can I have my broom back?" I was still carrying the broom after I was running so hard. But by the next day, that was all over school, and so for the next 2 years, I was known as Doc.
Oh my gosh!
So I passed that along to my character there.
That is hilarious. Now I watch television shows, and they show like writers sometimes getting like writer's blocked, and they have to go to like Lake George or go to some beautiful scenery. Have you ever had that problem?
Actually, no, in that way, because my theory on writing is to just write, and because what happens is that it's easier to fix a bad first draft than no first draft.
Exactly.
And so I just keep writing and make sure that the plot and the sequencing and all that is actually correct the first time. Mm-hmm. Not that I don't need to go back and add details, but all of that. And then so what I do have trouble with, I don't have trouble with the big picture there, but I have trouble with the very minute detail of finding a specific word that sounds and looks and feels exactly right in the exact sentence I'm looking at. So I wouldn't call that writer's block, but it's annoying when I can't figure out the right word. But eventually I get it, and and you see the result on the page there.
So you sound like you're highly motivated. What keeps you going?
Well, I've got a certain amount of books to write in my head, and I got to get them out before I'm dead.
Great answer.
I'm running out of time. Cisco.
I hear you, man. Yep, time stands still for no one. So, like I said, anyone can call in 347-352-8625 if you have any questions for author Paul Hollis. So currently, you just have 3 books out now.
I have 2 out now,
okay.
And I'm hoping that the 3rd one is going to come out around Christmas time, if I'm lucky.
Okay, cool. So, are those the only books that you wrote, or do you have more older ones?
Those are the only ones I have right now.
Oh, great.
And so, but I'm not quite sure what to write past this trilogy. So I may change genres, and I may not. It's just it's kind of like it's kind of a bug that I can't stop right.
Yeah.
So I mean I actually thank my doctor friend for telling me that I should write a book in the first place. So
yes, definitely.
Now, but now I can't stop. So it's like, yeah, I could strangle her.
So if you were to change genres, which one would you dabble in?
Well, not quite sure. I think probably the easiest to jump to might be sort of mystery, murder mysteries and things like that. That might be the easiest to jump to. Although I've been thinking a bit of horror movies and books lately, which are looking pretty good to me.
Okay, hold on. We have a caller, but they have to cut down their computer. Caller, you're on the DJ Cisco Radio Show with Paul Hollis.
Got it. I got spanked already, and I just got here. Hi, guys.
Hey.
Zandra.
Hey, Zandra. How you doing?
Hi, I'm good. I have a question for Mr. Hollis.
Got you.
So, Paul, tell us, I mean, I think both you guys know I'm not the typical female fan. I like the dude stuff. I like the blood and the gore and the sock 'em up stuff. But like for the demographic of females that are not usually thriller list readers or interested in that kind of thing, how can you bring in the females into this storyline? I mean, what's really gonna intrigue the females when they read these books?
A great question. My feeling is that what I'm looking at, I put a very strong female lead in place, and so it's not just all sort of shoot 'em up in that. There's a lot of decision making as far as figuring things out between the two of them, and sort of getting in and out of situations, etc. So I think probably that would be what I would be looking at, is to emphasize to female readers that there is a strong female lead in it, and it's not just all about guys shooting each other and
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I asked that for the people the women that haven't read any of the book, but I'm on chapter 12 of the first book, and there's a really hot love scene, we'll call it. Yeah, so there's a little bit of everything in this book.
Great.
There's moments of sexiness, but Zita is such a badass. I love her, and she's so unassuming. I just love her.
Beautiful. All right.
Yeah.
So thanks for calling in.
Yeah, man. I'm enjoying the show. You guys are awesome.
Yes.
Okay. You guys enjoy your conversation. See ya.
Okay, bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, so that was a great question, Paul.
Yeah, excellent. I would encourage more women to read it. It's not. It's more than just telling a story. I think it really shares, some insights into their characters, and there is some love scenes in it, and sort of like just general life, that you would run into with life, and not just not just there's a bad guy and let me chase him down and make sure he's gone.
Gotcha. All right, so listen, thank you for being on the DJ Cisco Radio Show. This is author Paul Hollis. His latest novel out is Hollow Man, right? That's your latest one.
The latest one is London Bridge is Falling Down.
London Bridge is Falling Down. And
right.
And you have Hollow Man, and the other one is called what?
Surviving Prague.
Gotcha.
And that's about when I go into an Iron Curtain country back in the early days.
Beautiful, beautiful. Are you going to ever tell a tell-all book about your life, like actual events?
I
would read that.
Most of it's pretty boring.
I don't think so. That our story from the 70s, you just blew me away with that. And I got to talk to you about that behind the scenes. Are you still connected with those people or no?
No, they're either dead or retired or whatever. It was 40 years ago, so
wow.
It was quite a while.
Gotcha.
And they're all gone, and so they don't really care about me telling any stories now, as long as they change the names and things like that.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you once again for being on the show. Oh man, this is going to go into a podcast, and I'm going to send the link so we can have this online.
My pleasure. Thanks for inviting me, Cisco.
No problem. God bless.
Thank you.